Hello and welcome to Sketch Together. My name is Pablo Stanley, and on this session we're going to learn how to export your UI animations to GIF. And we're going to be using Principle for UI animations and also Photoshop for some details on your animation. And we're going to learn how to mock up on a device, how to prepare for Dribble, and how to create a perfect loop, because sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get that loop to be perfect. So, first thing, I'm going to open Principle. And if you don't know how to use Principle, I have a crash course on Principle that is available on here, and you can take it. So here I have one really simple prototype. Here in the preview window, I can see that just like opens a card and then it closes just by tapping on it. And I want to create an animated GIF from this. Here in the preview, there's a little camera icon. You press on it, you can start recording, and before starting to record you can select if you want to have a touch cursor, an arrow cursor, of a cursor hidden. So let's select touch cursor. I started recording now. I'm recording all of this, and then I stop it by pressing on the camera. And now here I have the option to save this as a movie or as a GIF. And if you select GIF, it gives you the option to, by default, a Dribble Retina display, the Pro 800 by 600 size, and also 200 size for height, and also gives you 100%, which will respect the size of your artboard, your prototype. So let's try the one that says Dribble Retina 800 by 600. I'm going to save this. It opens the Finder for you automatically, and you can preview it. And as you can see, it added a gray background for you where your prototype is in the middle. So right now you can put this on Dribble if you wanted to, but I think we can do better. As you can see, there's some exporting fragments there, and it's great. I think it's good enough, but I think sometimes if you want to do something more creative, you can do something different by exporting to movie. So let's learn how to do that. So here, I'm going to go back to Principle, and here on the record, I'm going to say, again, touch cursor. I'm going to do the whole thing again. It opens, and then it closes, and I stop recording. And instead of GIF, I'm going to save this as a movie. So .mov. I'm going to save it as the same name. And now I have it as a movie. And right now, it's a movie. It's really smooth. The quality is really good. And it doesn't loop because it's a movie. But if you go to Photoshop, I'm going to open Photoshop. And this is where the magic happens. The cool thing about Photoshop, not a lot of people know this, but you can open movies too. You can open movies. So I'm going to open this movie and just open it directly in Photoshop. You just open it. And then here you're going to see a new panel here, a new window on the bottom if you haven't seen it before, which is a timeline. And it has your video layer here, and you can go through the timeline and see your whole video. And if you needed to, you can cut this video, but I'm not going to, or you can crop it over here, cut it. The cool thing is that now I can put this on top of a device. So I'm going to open another image. I have two, this one and this one. This one is from Facebook. This one is really just flat. I can just import my movie here. And boom, I have it here. It's on the device and around there. And then I want to create a video timeline from this. And now I have a video timeline. And now I have my movie on this mockup. This one got a little bit too big. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There you go. Now it's the same time, and it will loop once I export it. But probably you wanted to have a perspective, you wanted to feel more realistic. Well, this is pretty realistic, but probably you wanted that perspective and look nice. So I'm going to close this. By the way, this is ready if you wanted to. But again, I'm going to use this movie in something different, this is from iMockups. If you want to go to imockups.com, you'll be able to see their mockups there. And now I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to drag and drop this little guy here. I'm going to create a video timeline. So now the video timeline is there. You can see the whole video here. But I want to transform this video. And I can press Command T. And now it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to convert this to a smart object? And I'm going to say yes, convert it to a smart object. And now there is a smart object. This video, I can transform it and do really crazy stuff if I wanted to. So something like this, I'm going to press Command, and then I can drag this point around there, I think. And then I can press Command, and these points, these corners, I can drag them and transform them and give them perspective. Which looks pretty cool. So you can get crazy on how detailed you want this. I just going to just good enough for this video. I think it's good enough. And now I have my video playing here on the device. So there you go. Just press the space bar to do play, and that's it. And now I'm going to check the image size of this. I'm going to say I want it to be pixels. I'm going to need to be able to resample. I'm going to say pixels. I'm going to be 800 and by 600. So now it's 800 by 600. I can export this to Dribbble, to a GIF that will be great to the size of Dribbble. So I can I can press Command Alt Shift S. So Command Alt Shift S, and then it will save for GIF. Or you can go over here and go to Export, and then Save for WEF, which is the legacy. This is the one I use. Save for WEF, and here you can go to the presets, and one of the presets is going to be GIF. I'm going to select GIF 128 Vitter, and then it's going to take a little bit just to turn this GIF into, put all of those layers as a GIF. And right now it's 128 colors. And I can, instead here in the looping options, instead of once, I'm going to say forever. That will create a loop. And just press play, and I can preview it. It's going to be a little bit slow. But let's say done. Right now, I can see here on the bottom that this GIF is going to be 534 kilobytes, which is pretty good. I was actually expecting it to be a little bit bigger, but no, this is pretty good. I'm going to say save, and I'm going to save it here. And let's preview it in a minute. And right now, I only did 128 colors. That's probably why it's so small. There you go. That's pretty cool, right? It created a loop for me. It's 128 colors. If you want to try it, you can go up to 256 colors, and probably will give you a little bit of a better quality. So that's the magic of using Photoshop with your movies and to be able to put them on a device. And something cool that you might want to use Photoshop to is, like I was telling you, when you want to create a perfect loop. So here I'm going to go back to Principle. I'm going to close this little guy. I'm going to open a different prototype that I have, and this one is an animation. This one, as you can see, it animates automatically. So it's going to be really hard for me to get that perfect loop because there's no actions, there's nothing. It's just an animation that is looping by itself. So I'm just going to start recording, and I'm going to say cursor hidden, and there you go. It's animating. I think it's doing a couple loops already did. So I'm going to stop the animation. I'm going to save it as a movie. That's perfect. And now I'm going to go back to Photoshop. I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save this. Close this, don't save it. I'm going to open the movie that I just created, which is the donut, this guy. So as you can see, it doesn't create, it made the animation perfectly, but it's really hard to get that perfect loop. But I can do this here on Photoshop. So here I'm going to say that my loop starts, let's say that starts here. After this, when the leg is up and it goes down, there you go. I think around there is where the loop starts. So I'm going to drag here the video. I'm going to drag it all the way to my mark, to my timeline, and around there. And now it automatically cropped that video, and now it's here. And now from here, I need to find this same point over here. So it goes back to this. And I actually think it's right there. Right there is where the loop ends. So I can crop this, close this loop, make this movie a little bit shorter. So now I'm pretty sure this is going to be a loop. Let me see if I can say loop playback. And here in the options, I can loop the playback. So I'm going to just press play. There you go. Now it's a perfect loop of my animation, and I can export this to GIF. So let's going to go to File, Export, Save for Web. There you go. Now it's only 1.3 megabytes, as you can see here. And I'm going to say yes, 256 pixels. Probably is not I don't need so many colors. I'm going to go to 128, just to probably now it's only 1 megabyte. And I'm going to save it. Save Principled Donut. And oops, something that I almost forgot. Looping options. Always, if you want it to loop, you say forever. So there you go. Save Principled Donut. There you go. Let's see it on the Finder, and let's put them by kind. There you go. I have my animated GIF. It's a perfect loop now of my animation, and I did this using Principle and Photoshop. Pretty cool.